Okay. Hello everyone. Assalamu alaikum. So yeah, today we are going to take the second session of our open source connect Bangladesh, which is going to be like the our guest speaker is Katie Greenley, and let's introduce her to our session and let's know about her. Okay. So hey, Katie, how are you?
Hi. Good, how are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. So let's start our session, and we would really love to know about you. It is really awesome that you accepted our invitation to talk in our session. So yeah, can you say something about like what you are doing right now and something like that? Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Hi, I'm happy to be here. I'm Katie Greenley. I'm the Senior Manager of Community Engagement and Outreach at the CNCF. I've been in that role for almost a year now. And prior to that, I worked at the Linux Foundation for 8.5 years on the events team, managing events that like KubeCons and open source summits and uh, even small events like the sponsorships that CNCF goes to third-party events and partakes in. Now my role is primarily focused on community programs,
Mm-hmm.
which is like the ambassador program, cloud native community groups, which is our take on meetups, KCDs, which is Kubernetes Community Days, and then project marketing. So my roles shifted to kind of being more community focused and helping the community grow through meaningful contributions.
Okay, that's awesome. Okay, so as this is a kind of something like we'd like to know about you, like yeah,
Mhm.
obviously. So talking about this role, right? So you were kind of organizing and basically taking, mm, doing all of this stuff like with the managing the sales ambassador and so on and so forth. So just a few days back, we had the last date to apply for the sales ambassador. So there are a lot of people and students who just want to be sales ambassadors. So what do you think? Do you want to suggest something for the students, like what it takes to be a sales ambassador?
Yeah, to be a CNCF ambassador, it's being someone who is going above and beyond in the community.
Mhm.
It's typically someone who has been in the community for a couple of years, who've established themselves as a thought leader, whether that's through speaking opportunities or hosting meetups or being part of KCD organizing teams, whether they're taking a lead role on like a tag or a SIG or contributing as a maintainer. If they're part of the mentor program, that's a huge one, right? If you've gone from
Mhm.
mentee to mentor and now you're helping
Mhm.
other people grow within their own journey of cloud native applications, that's great too. If you're
Yeah.
blogging, if you're vlogging, if you're podcasting, if you're coming up with meaningful content around how people utilize the different projects that fall under CNCF, there's 170 of them. Plus, there's probably closer to 175 now. Uh, Being able to talk about that project and tell people how they apply it in their everyday work is huge. So those are kind of different ways to contribute and elevate yourself to that next level. I'm always looking for people who are doing multifaceted things. So if they're speaking and they're running KCDs, but they're also creating blog content, they're also being a maintainer, those kind of things help you shine a little bit more.
Yeah. Okay, that's awesome. Okay, so as students, like obviously the opportunities for us something a bit kind of, yeah, not that much I would say. Like, but still, like if someone is like is going to start, right? So he or she might start with like contribute with the open source, right?
Yeah.
So kind of what would like how what would they focus on basically? Because my like you were talking about the it's not only about like senior CF ambassador program. There are a lot of programs, right? So LFX mentorship program and so on, which we were mentioning, like the mentorship, mentee,
Yeah.
something like that. Like, so they should be focusing on more of a like on the GitHub profile, right? If you
Yeah.
talk about those, yeah.
I think when it comes to areas of focus, it has to be
Mhm.
something that you're engaged with, that you find that you're passionate about. If you're not passionate about, focusing on your GitHub profile and building and doing mentorships or being a mentee, then that's
Mhm.
not the right path for you. If you're passionate about being part of a release and helping be part of a release team, then that's something you should do. If you're interested in learning about a specific area, like a tag, so there's like tag security or tag um, sustainability and environment. There's lots of different tags that come out of all these different projects. Finding a tag that aligns with what you're interested in contributing to, or you're passionate about, helping to be part of that cause, you're going to be more invested, and it's going to show in the work that you're doing. If you're just contributing to contribute to check a box, you're going to
Mhm.
have a really hard time connecting. So you have to find
Mhm.
something you're interested in, finding that project you're interested in, taking the time to read the glossary, maybe contributing to the glossary because you realize that there isn't information in your native language. That's a great way to get
Mhm.
started too. So there's lots of
Yeah.
different things to do, but it's about finding the thing that you're the most passionate about and then sticking with that.
Yeah. This mostly nowadays people do actually focus on the outcomes mostly rather than working on it, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so we have a question like from Jainul. This is basically for students interested in community engagement and outreach. What are some ways you would recommend getting involved within the CNCF community? Yeah.
I think to start, if you're interested in this, going to a meetup in your local area, um,
Hmm.
learning about the content that's happening there, networking with people within that community, um, building up the trust to be able to maybe speak at that event, down the line, helping them with content. Uh, like I said, even as easy as looking at the different tags or projects and going to um, current open PRs and helping to contribute that way, and first requests, like those are kind of like simple, easy things. Um, Definitely getting involved on a KCD level is great. Going to those events to network even further. It's about, definitely for me, networking. If you want to be involved in the community and you want to learn how to get involved in the community, starting at a meetup, building to a KCD, going to meetings, all projects have open meetings, going to a meeting for the project or the tag or the SIG that you're interested in, getting to know the community, being helpful with things that they need done and contributing to things that you like to do and that fits within your skill set. That's a great place to start.
Okay, that's awesome. Okay, so another thing is like how has the growth in projects and verticals represented impacted your role and priorities in community engagement in at CNCF? Yeah.
It impacts it a lot, right?
Okay. Yeah.
There's always new projects coming in and new verticals
Hmm.
that we're looking to support.
Yeah.
So I'm always looking to see how we continue to grow the communities in each of those projects and make them feel supported into getting set up with, again, back to meetups, making sure that they feel supported and getting content created, making them feel supported that they're represented equally within the CNCF umbrella. There's a lot of different projects, right? And not
Hmm.
only representing certain projects that have been here for a long time, but making sure that we're bringing those new projects to the forefront and talking about them just as much as a legacy project. Uh, and then, like I said, those verticals, security is a big one right now, right? So's WASM, and we're constantly looking at how do we engage with those communities? How do we provide them with the opportunity to know that we have projects that support them, those certain verticals in an open source manner? And how do we continue to um, become a thought leader within them?
Okay. Okay, so talking about that. Okay, so yeah, just as we are talking about myself, so I'm
Mhm.
kindly organizer of the Cloud Native Bangladesh. So if I would like to, I have few questions, right? So to learn
Yeah.
from you, like so basically, like you are managing a large organization, like these meetups and ambassador meetings and so on. So what is your takeaway basically? So how to manage all of these, right? And just talk about yourself, like how you manage all of these, the technical things, your personal life, somehow to manage the time. Yeah.
Uh, it's for me, it's about setting boundaries within
Mhm.
my own work life as well as my personal life. For me, I set up my calendar to display when I'm available to take phone calls, when I'm available, for working hours. Um, Now, that being said, there are times that I do work outside of working hours, but I try to prioritize not allowing work to bleed into the time that I have with my family.
Mhm.
Making sure that when I take a vacation, I'm truly unplugging from the computer and
Mhm.
not checking in. It's really easy for me to want to do that. As
Mhm.
someone who is in the community, who has a lot of ambassadors like yourself,
Yeah.
um, I get constantly pinged by people, and I have a bit of like guilt at times that I'm not
Yeah.
responding to people when I'm out on vacation. But I have to know that if I'm not taking care of myself in my personal life and taking that time, I can't be successful in the work that I do.
Mhm.
And then reminding myself that there are lots of things to do. There's so much stuff that I could be focusing on. But if I'm not doing one thing at a time and doing it really well, then I'm not
Mhm.
doing anything well at all. So
Yeah.
there are going to be times that I may be late on some deadline for one project that I'm working on. Um, because I'm focused on another project that I'm working on, and I'm taking the time to ensure that I'm doing that project well and I'm being thorough and accurate with the things I'm doing.
Mhm.
So that way I don't have to go back in and refix anything that I've done previously. And it's hard. It takes a really long time to get good at that. Like, no, I'm going to focus on reviewing ambassador
Mhm.
applications today, and I'm not going to look at anything else.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. Like, so for me, I was like, I was also mailing you, well, 2 or 3 mails, something like that. And if you talk
Mhm.
about 157 ambassadors, so it's like huge, right?
Yeah.
That's yeah, that's huge, and that's really awesome that you have been doing this task. Really awesome. Okay, so another question popping up, like how do you measure and track the success and impact of CNCF community programs? So how do you see all of these?
Yeah, so there's lots of different ways we do it. For the ambassador program, I just recently surveyed all the ambassadors to see how they felt the program was going,
Hmm.
what they think is working well, and what they think needs to be improved. And then I take that information, I compile it into um, a quick kind of like recap uh, report, and then make the necessary changes within the program based off of the feedback from the community.
Hmm.
CNCGs, it's pretty similar. We survey them as well as the KCD organizers to see how they like the tooling, what areas they think needs to be improved from the CNCF standpoint to help make them successful. We again compile that into a report and review and make the necessary changes. And then we also track from like CNCGs to KCDs a year over year growth. So, how many KCDs did we host last year? How many attendees did they bring in? How many CFPs were submitted? How many KCDs do we have this year? How many attendees have gone to them? How many CFPs? So things like that kind of help from a um, like an analytical kind of look at things for measure. But it is a
Hmm.
lot of asking the community what's going well and what's not, and making the necessary changes. I'm here to be a steward of the community, and to listen to the problems that they're having and try to fix them. with an open source mentality. So asking them, hey, if we did this, would that fix it? Or I'm going to try this and then ask again, did that work? Did it make it better? Did it make it worse? It's constantly um, asking the questions, reviewing the questions, implementing, and then going back to the beginning of asking questions.
Yeah, almost like reinforcement learning.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so another thing, like just yeah, something you were talking about KCDs and Cloud Native
Yeah.
community groups, right? So we have a community group there, that's Cloud Native Bangladesh. Yeah, so basically, yeah, but we didn't have any KCDs yet. So
Yeah.
do you what would you like to add, like what is the process we should go through? And many people would like to know like how to be part of the KCDs, local KCDs and something. It would be awesome for if Bangladesh can also host one. So could you add something or suggest us something on this?
Yeah, of course. I'm going to actually grab
Yeah,
the
go for
GitHub
it.
link and put it in the chat for everyone. So this GitHub repo talks about how you can get started. It has the way to file an issue,
Mhm.
resources on how to host your event. And then what happens is when you are ready to, say, submit an issue for a certain area,
Mhm.
um, my colleague Audra reviews those issues and we'll set up a call. And then from there, we, depending on where you're at, if you have everything that you need to be able to move forward with the next steps, then it's approved to start, and then a monthly call is set up with you and the organizers. If you're looking to join, like say a certain area, so like KCD Austria is coming up, and say you are based in Austria, you could go in and look at all open issues and see who the organizers are and reach out to them.
Mhm.
Each of our organizer team is KCD. I think I'm trying to think of what their email addresses are. Typically it's like KCD dash location, or no, organizers dash location. So organizers dash Austria at Kubernetes, or yeah, Kubernetes community days.org, are typically the email address that you can email them, but you can also look at who's the organizers. It's all listed in there,
Yeah.
and you can reach out to them and say, hey, I'm interested in volunteering some time. Is there anything I can do? And I know a lot of them would be really grateful for that.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, so yes, so we got a lot of insight about the case series. I hope that we are going to get a case series soon, because I also created an issue. Like, yeah, maybe by the end of 2024, maybe we have a case
Yeah.
study here in Bangladesh. That would be great. Okay, so yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so something like, would you like to add some new events or something that's going to happen very soon in some in the South Asia region or something? It would be great for the folks to know about them, like KCDs or KubeCon or something. Yeah, in
Yeah.
the coming days.
So some upcoming events that are coming to kind of the South Asia area, of course, is Cube Day India is a big one. That will
Hmm.
be in December. Um, Singapore is another one that's happening if people can travel to that. I know sometimes it's kind of hard. Uh, KubeCon, Cloud Native Con and Open Source India is coming next year, which is really
Nice.
exciting. We've
Yeah.
heard the requests from the community,
Yeah.
that there is such an interest to have that level of event. So
Hmm.
we're pretty excited to be able to bring it there, especially since I know there's been in the past some constraints on people traveling to the North
Yeah.
America or the EU one based off of visas. So it's
Yeah. Visa
exciting to be
issues.
able to make this available to the community,
Hmm.
because it's important for it to be accessible, right? It should be accessible for everyone. That's what open source is about.
Yes.
So we're excited to be able to bring the CNCF team to
Hmm.
each of those events. And then in terms of KCDs, most of our KCDs in India happened at the beginning of the year. And then we had two that happened in Pakistan.
Okay.
So one in Islamabad and one in Lahore. Lahore was actually last weekend.
Okay.
But I
Awesome.
think both of those programs will be coming back in 2024. KCD Pakistan has already started their planning for, I believe it's March of
Hmm.
2024. I was just going to see if I can quickly find what they have. Um, yeah, I believe it's March of 2024. And
Hmm.
then I believe KCD Lahore will happen in the latter half of the year, the fall again.
Okay, that's awesome. So these are some of the activities and events that's going to happen in the Southeast
Mm.
Asia region. So yes, awesome. We're really hoping that we can also organize something very soon.
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I guess that's how we can now end our session as well. That was thank you so much, Kathy,
Yeah. Thanks.
for your valuable time. Yes, we hope to see you physically in our events very soon. And yeah, thank you so much again. So see you again then. Bye.
Yeah. Bye.